we're passing the urucum around for the people who arrived late. If you want to put a small, like Pia has already, you can put a small marking on your face if you'd like. Just be careful not to stain your clothes. But it's a very important paint that they use for ceremony. And this is the tree. Well, the slide before was the tree. These are the pods, and there are seeds, and they macerate the seeds, and they put copaiba oil. And then they prepare it so that you can use it. It's a very thick paint.
Então, essas são coisas da minha tradição, parte da iniciação, parte da pintura, parte das plantas. Eu estava falando que do Ryushin, é bom vocês entenderem, porque se você pegar qualquer planta que o Ryushin não gostar, você pode se arrepender pro resto da sua vida.
So he was explaining again about the way that they relate with their plants, and if you take a plant and the udushin, the spirit of that plant, doesn't like it, you are in trouble.
Diz nossos pajés que tem Ryushin bom, tem Ryushin ruim. É igual nós, né? Tem pessoas boas, pessoas ruins.
So the pajé says that there are good Yushins and bad Yushins. Just like people, there are ones you want to be friends with and others that you just don't want to be very close to.
E assim, né, a formação, quando você vai para esse retiro, você pode fazer de 6 meses, de 1 ano e meio, de 2, 3 anos. Quando você completa 3 anos, ninguém mais pode brincar com você, você ganha a confiança da comunidade, e assim você se torna um membro do guardião da medicina, que chamamos de Pachuí, que é homem pajé.
So these retreats in isolation, they can last from 6 months to 3 years. And if you can endure the 3-year retreat, nobody can mess with you any longer. And you become a sacred guardian of the plant medicines from the forest.
Assim, esse pajé pode fazer chover quando não tem chuva, pode alagar quando chove muito, né, que dá enchente, por exemplo, na nossa região muito baixa. Então, essas coisas assim. Mas a força do pajé não é para isso, é para ajudar a continuar, para quem procura o aprendizado dos conhecimentos dessa linhagem do aprendizado, do estudo aprofundado na nossa tradição.
So this person who will become a pajé, he gains the trust from his community and he acquires lots of power. He can bring rain when necessary. He could even flood regions if needed, but he doesn't use the power that he acquires for such things. Rather, he uses this power to help educate people and protect the forest and all the sacred spirits.
Na minha comunidade tem vários estudantes que já estão se formando agora na estudo diferenciado na floresta, na tradição Kaxinawá Runicuim. Por exemplo, quem é o anfitrião para comandar a dança do Cachá, né? Do Cachá é uma festa tradicional que é bem conhecida na nossa cultura, que é quem só conhece a festa do alimento, né? O outro, só quem conduz, que é do Nishipan. Daqui a pouco eu vou falar mais sobre isso. E o outro é do Cachatirim, que é a festa do gavião. Então, para cada festa tem uma pessoa responsável para isso.
So part of these people that graduate in this spiritual matters, they become guardians and they become hosts of sacred events that take place. They have many different parties There's the Cachá, which is it's the party of food. There is a celebration of Gavião. How do you call it? Hawk. Yeah, the hawk. So they have all these different celebrations, and you have to go through all this initiation before you are granted the right to be a host of one of these parties. So there's a lot of responsibility involved, a lot of training, a lot of endurance.
Assim, sua iniciação, eu queria falar um pouco por que é importante para os Kaxinawá beber a bebida sagrada que vem do conhecimento muito antigo.
So now I want to talk to you about why do we drink this sacred medicine that comes from old times, the ayahuasca.
Which is the two plants, the junction of the two plants that you see there.
For the ones who don't know what ayahuasca is or have just a faint idea, ayahuasca is it's a relationship. It's a mixture of two different plants. One is the chacrona leaf and the mariri cypress or vine. And they beat up the vine and they cook it with the leaves for many hours and they boil it down. And yeah, we're going to see images of how it is prepared.
Para os Honeymoon, para os Kaxinawá, venho do encantado, né? O encantado da jiboia, porque antes de nós seres humanos é só ela que tinha conhecimento, domínio de medicina, e elas nunca queriam passar conhecimento para ninguém. E esse espírito do Abussan, que foi lá, conheceu a jiboia, que se apaixonou, que trouxe conhecimento, que expandiu daí desses conhecimentos para vários povos. Eu acho que os povos Shipibo também no Peru, também que são do mesmo tronco da gente, tem histórias parecidas, né? Vários, porque eu estou contando a ayahuasca na tradição Kaxinawá, porque várias partes do mundo usam, e várias partes do mundo também tem tradição, mas essa é uma tradição do ponto de vista do Kaxinawá.
So he's talking a little bit about the story of the origin of ayahuasca for the Honeymoon people. Ayahuasca, the secrets of the realm that ayahuasca presides, it belonged to the jiboia snake. Humans had no access to it. And according to the Honeymoon myth of the ayahuasca, it's a long story, but a representative, like he was... He was a pajé, Yabussan, and he went to the enchanted world. So ayahuasca, it's a messenger. It brings us in touch with this different realm, which is the enchanted world, and it belongs to the enchanted people. So this person went to the lake, and he went through all this fantastic journey, and he had to escape from the enchanted world, and the snakes came after him, and then they wanted to. He married a sacred snake underwater, which is very interesting because they make reference to the
enchanted animals that gave the teachings were underwater.
Yeah, all sacred animals that gave these teachings, they were from underwater. So this man went to this lake and he went underwater. He went into the enchanted world. He married this enchanted snake, which was the mother of ayahuasca. And then he realized that he had to go back to his people. He had to go back to the ordinary world. The snakes went after him. And to make a long story short, he was eaten by the snakes tried to eat him alive because the snake wanted the husband back. And he died, and in the place where he died, he went back to his people. He passed these teachings on to his people, and after he died, he was buried, and in the place where he was buried, ayahuasca vine grew up. So that's how it came. And then people would commune with this plant to get back, to reclaim that knowledge that was brought back from the enchanted world by this pajé. An ancient, old story.
Só um minutinho mais, só para falar assim, né? São um preparo assim antigo na panela de barro com uma madeira especial que é de apá, madeira vermelha. Os cozimentos que vão, né, cozinhando ao longo do tempo, tem um pajé, né? Quem duvidar, tem uma medicina que te leva 6 meses de meditação. Esses são um preparo, né, desse que eu estou contando a história. Para quem quiser tirar a dúvida, pode me procurar e procurar esse pajé que pode te levar para o mundo cósmico, mas não é para qualquer um, né? Só um estudo que os pajé, né, os Kaxinawá têm esse estudo aprofundado.
So he's explaining all the process that they use for preparing the ayahuasca. They use a special clay pot for doing so, a special kind of wood. Everything is very, nothing is just, random. Everything is sacred and everything is observed carefully. And he's talking about this, there's this very special brew that only the highest level pajés know about, that you can drink some of this ayahuasca, this concentrated or sacred brew, and it can take you to these other realms and for 6 months. But if you have, if you become interested and want to talk more about that, feel free to look for him in the forest.
Parece brincadeira, mas tem. Se vocês procurarem, vocês encontram. Mas não é assim que a gente abre, são histórias nossas que a gente guarda para a gente ter essa memória. Mas hoje todas as coisas com o tempo vai mudando, e a gente também que vem na nova geração também vai levando outra forma de trabalhar com esse conhecimento. Eu queria agora aproveitar que eu estou falando de ayahuasca, eu queria também trazer um canto para vocês, porque essa nosso propósito não é só vocês ouvirem, mas também eu acho que a interação de vocês poderem interagir com os cantos seria muito importante, de ouvir um canto tradicional de cura.
So, since we're speaking about ayahuasca, he's mentioning that he's going to stop so he can share a sacred chant with you all. And he says it's really important that not only that we just listen to words and to a lecture and to explanation, but that we actually co-participate in feeling and receiving the energy of the sacred chants. So that's what we're going to dedicate this moment to do that. Their chants usually they're very easy to, the chorus part is very easy to sing. Usually it's 2 or 3 different vowels. And so we want to invite you all to try to just sit with both your feet on the floor, whoever's on the chair, if you can have, a posture where you feel like you're present, and we want to invite you to sing the chorus with him, just observing where it vibrates in your body and observing the energy of the space. And I'm going to be passing some water over each one of you while we do the singing, okay?
Fechado.
He's asking you all to have your eyes closed.
Vai vibrando o coração de vocês.
So that it vibrates on your bodies and in your hearts.
Uskaneroma, uskawawatiani, mahunu wakamu, wakanu maki, wakanchono buruwi kirimu, unubuwash buwashki, ubuwash bakui, Uskaneruma, uskawawatiani, Bom, são cantos das tradições da medicina que eu divido com vocês para aqueles que estão presentes aqui. Posso levar essa vibração que vem dentro da minha tradição também da floresta.
So these, so that I can bring some of the medicine through the singing and some of the vibration and the teachings of the forest and share with you.
Bom, esse canto são quando você está na floresta com a medicina, com o pajé, com os animais, com a natureza, e tudo isso faz uma coisa só. A integração do seu espírito do Jurá que vai fazer iniciação, né, começa a se conectar com também como é que o Incatirim, né, o nosso antepassado estão para te ensinar, porque esse trabalho espiritual é uma coisa muito séria, é uma coisa que para nós tem uma grande respeito quando trabalhamos com as medicinas.
The spiritual work we take very seriously, and the work with the medicine as well. And the chanting comes together with other elements that we use in ceremony, so that's the chants and the use of the medicinal plants. O que mais? Os elementos? Ah, tá. Você falou de algum elemento, Buddy? Não.
Não, tá bom.
Tá.
A forma que são preparos tradicionais, esses são alguma margem que eu trabalhei para preparo da medicina. Mas assim, quero trazer que a nossa forma tradicional de preparar o nishipã, o runipã, seja lá qual o nome que a gente dá para essa planta, mas na nossa tradição chamamos de runi, né, que traz toda essa grégora cósmica e espiritual dentro dessa força que faz expandir nosso saber com a relação com o entendimento com as plantas, né? E assim, né, chamamos esse jagube de nishipã, que é o cipó, que é o próprio jiboia, né, que também tem várias diferentes cipó que chamamos de xamã runi, que traz miração coloridos, né, que são essa miração quando você toma a bebida do xamã, né, te traz várias cores, tipo igual ao xamã. O xamã vem, né, tem vários investimentos azul, vermelho e amarelo, assim. Toda essa luz que vem desse cipó, né, para fazer o preparo também, que tem o kawá, né, neikawá, né, que é uma folha grande, enorme lá que a gente tira na mata. São as duas combinações que veio do Duobusan quando ele fez a passagem da criação desse mundo para o outro mundo. Então é o próprio corpo dele que foi se transformando na própria medicina.
So he's saying this is the cipó, the liana, the vine, and we call it in Portuguese jagubi, but it's called nishpã in his language, and basically nishpã is the snake herself, it's the body of the snake, and there are many different kinds of jagubi that you can use, the same, but each one will bring a different kind of energy or vision, different types of visions, and this is us producing some medicine, some ayahuasca about a month ago in our institutes, and the first thing that you have to do is beat the vine I mean, today people will be using machines but the traditional to blend, so it's faster, but the traditional way is to really be beating that to a pulp for hours on end, and that's me contracting tendinitis after a few hours.
Are you speaking of like white, red, black ayahuasca?
Yeah, ele quer pedir para você falar, pode passar. Porque eu falei que tem diferentes tipos de ayahuasca, né, de jabubi. Ele está perguntando se vocês chamam tipo de ayahuasca vermelha, ayahuasca preta, ayahuasca amarela, que tem algumas traduções que tem essa diferenciação.
Tem sim, tem a diferença quando a gente vai plantar o que a gente acha nativo, quando o próprio a força, nós chamamos de miração, quando a miração vem, a gente vê que essas partes da espécie do cipó, quando o xanã tem uma outra miração, o xamã tem uma outra miração, e do bacá, que é do peixe, tem outro, e do baçá, que é do macaco, tem uma outra miração, e da floresta, que é nihuni, também tem uma outra miração.
Fala quais são os tipos e qual o nome de cada animal.
São plantas, não são animais, são tipo uma forma que a gente chama, né, que baçá, para nós, baçá runi é cipó do macaco. E bacarruni é do peixe, né, mas não é no sentido do peixe, mas a forma que a gente dá o nome, e do ninhuni, que é a miração mais escuro que vem da floresta, né, que é o ni, que é a floresta, né, se for mais miração mais tipo escuro.
He's saying yes, there are differences. They don't actually think of it in different colors. When they use names, they associate them with animal spirits. So there's a different vine that has the power of the monkey. The other one is the power of the fish. The darker one is the forest, the forest type, because there's darkness. So it's a different way to associate the power of the vine. Yeah, but definitely there are many different grades of gradations of medicine.
Each one brings a different kind of vision. Each one has a different quality.
Yeah, they know that because when they cook it and they drink it, they can identify the different kind of visionary experience they have with each one of them.
Eu acho que o microfone, então, vocês vão traduzir, eu vou falar em português, que está mais perto.
Melhor.
Então, assim, tem dois tipos de folha que são Matsikawa, que é a miração do frio, e Naikawa, que é a miração original.
So there are two types of leaves, actually. That one gives the cold visionary experience, and the other one, it's the original visionary experience.
Both chacuna? Both chacuna?
Isso. Não são folhas. São...
They are leaves.
Two different types of chacuna?
São folhas
são a mesma folha, são duas folhas diferentes, uma é original, uma outra é falsa. Da mesma espécie.
Yeah, it's the same kind of, it's interesting to note here, I don't know if you realize, that he's saying that actually the vine also brings you visionary experiences. According to scientific studies, only the leaf is the ingredient, the active ingredient that brings you the visionary, the hallucinations, we would say in the old language. But as you go deeper into these native traditions, we have to let go of some assumptions, scientific of the mind, and try to engage into the mythical power of what they're saying. And instead of separating and trying to, we have this quality in the Western world of trying to nail the right molecule that is responsible for the effect in your brain and has the proper chemistry.
Beta-carbolines in ayahuasca vine are used for antidepressants or psychoactive for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a lot at play in this mixture of different elements.
Então, por que esses cantos, por que nós fazemos, tem um uso dentro da cerimônia. Para a gente, assim, é muito importante que a gente mantenha a nossa conexão com relação com a natureza, principalmente porque a natureza é a própria nossa casa. Então, a morada da jiboia, que a gente chama, é um encanto onde todos os encantos podem te mostrar no mundo espiritual, né, que traz a claridade dos nossos pensamentos para que o ancião, o pajé, pode continuar nos orientando e nos ensinando.
So he's saying also that the chants are very important. They are a gateway to enter this enchanted world, and they call their place the home of the jiboia, the home of the snake. And so they have this deep connection. Their whole lives are seen as a big wholeness that includes not only themselves but the whole environment. And chanting is a way to bring this energy forward. Sorry.
Assim, né, por que é tão importante? Porque a gente fala nós porque somos uma geração nova que queremos tanta coisa estar junto para isso, porque o ritual, né, no ritual de fazer cerimônia com ayahuasca, com medicina, qualquer medicina, que é no terreiro, né, que costuma ser feito no terreiro da casa mesmo, onde a gente organiza para fazer cerimônia, porque os cantos ajudam a gente a direcionar nossos pensamentos para a gente não também deixar o bruxinho da miração levar para o outro lado, porque senão a mente só fica naquela coisa e você não consegue trabalhar o processo, o trabalho da gente mesmo, que precisa ser trabalhado dessa forma. Né?
So he's saying also it's very important that the chants are used as tools for them to not allow themselves to be taken hostage by the visionary experience, by what they call the yushins, the spirits of the plants. Because if you don't engage into some kind of discipline, you may get lost and go astray in your visionary experience. So it's very important that they have these tools that can keep them keep the energy flowing and allow them to be not arrested by their minds.
Aí dentro dessa
one important thing that the Kashinawa have, and it's very different from our relationship with chanting, is that they understand the power of the chant and the power of speech in general, and how chanting and speaking produce certain kinds of vibrations. So when you're doing sacred chanting, the chanting is usually, even at festivities, it's not dissociated, just empty chanting. It has a purpose, and it guides you into a particular place. And so when you're chanting in ayahuasca ceremony, their chants are sort of like keys that open particular doorways to the cosmos or to the universe and to your personal experience. And whoever has had the opportunity, whether it's been with us, with Bane, with the Kashinawa, or with other natives, and have done ceremony in silence or with played music, or done ceremony when there's a native conducting with their own traditional chants, the experience is very, very different. And it's almost like the vehicle that will take you, and each chant is related in their case to different elements of the forest or different animals, and each chant will bring a particular energy. So you have a moment where you're going to chant so that the anaconda can come, and it's a very, very strong chant. And the other thing is that the person who starts becoming the leader of chanting, he also needs to be a master. He's related to the feathers, because the chanting for them comes, the chanters will learn from the different birds. And so when you do your initiation rites for chanting, you will have your tongue for many minutes pierced with a very strong pepper at the tip of the tongue constantly, so that you can receive the art of being able to chant.
Bom, é isso. Também para a cerimônia, a gente costuma usar essa roupa que eu estou usando. Também as mirações têm a conexão com o canê que a gente tem através da nossa roupa, através da nossa bolsa, tiara, rede. E essas roupas são também sagrados e é usado por muitos do nosso pachuí quando é usado na cerimônia. Assim. E também eu queria aqui, os Kaxinawá e outros povos indígenas do Brasil, nativo da Amazônia, tem complementos também de outras medicinas também, por exemplo, a medicina do rapé, a medicina do sapo, que que já foi. Então, as relações do Kenê também vem o conhecimento através da jiboia e também através da aranha, né? Que a aranha que ensinou para as mulheres, pois na visão da medicina tem uma ligação muito forte.
So he's explaining that it's very important during the ceremony. They have their vests and their outfits, and you can see these patterns. These patterns are a part of the cosmology of the Kaxinawa people. It's given by the snake. You actually go to the forest and you ask people search for the snake and ask the snake to give them visuals. So they can weave these patterns later in their own clothes and in their the artifacts that they create with these patterns. And these patterns are interconnected. So you just don't see it in their clothes, but they're actually they keep going endlessly to everywhere. So this is just a way to portray something that is much bigger and wider, energy and vibration.
And also this idea of you negotiate with the serpent, the women. The women are the ones who will do the weaving, and they're the ones who receive the capacity, the vision to see these sacred designs. And they're not only symbols, and they contain particular energies, and they don't only work as shields, but they're actually agents of change. They can actually move and guide the process along with the chants for your medicine, your ayahuasca ceremony. And in the older traditions, the women would hide the snake skin close to their weave, their loom, so that they would be able to receive the soul of the eye, the capacity to see. And there's initiation rites related to that too, to the Kenes. And we're passing some of the Kene designs around. There are different kinds of designs. When they se pode falar os nomes dos desenhos. I'm also going to pass a little. Desculpa. Vai bem por cima. And we're also going to pass the ayahuasca vine, the jatubi, for you to see. This is from our last, when we produced our last medicine batch. This came from the vine that Bunny planted 7 years ago.
So for those who couldn't hear what she said, this is the ayahuasca vine that they produced last year. We're passing it around for you to touch and see and feel it. Also important to notice that for the honeymoon people, they do not only use ayahuasca in their ceremonies. There are other sacred medicines that are used as well along with ayahuasca. There is the rapé, which they blow through your nose with one of those tools that you can see over there. There's the frog medicine, which is known in Brazil as the frog vaccine, because it has many interesting properties. And there's also the eye drops that they use. So plenty of different medicines for the forest that I used together during the ceremonial experience.
I'm sorry, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah, in the diamond we use Tape and Uma for mediumship. You can't get an energy or an entity through, so you do that. Do they use it in ceremony? And if so, what?
Rapé?
Yeah.
Yeah. You won't find any Kaxinawa ceremony that doesn't have rapé mixed with you drink ayahuasca and then you have rapé and you drink more ayahuasca and you take more rapé. They are used together. There's actually no separation for the Kaxinawa between one or the other. Okay, and they use the rapé for grounding. Of course, it brings you energy and force, but it also grounds you. So if you're tripping your balls and you're way out there, it's good to do some rapé so you can get back to the earth. And also, if you're having difficulty, it happens. Maybe if you're having difficulties, physical problems, you can't throw up and you have to throw up, it's also recommended that you go and do something like that because it's going to help you purge what has to be purged.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get into that later.
Oh,
We're going to talk more about this.
What planet is it?
I will.
You will. Okay.